Welcome. Hello, Facebook friends, Facebook family. This is Samir. I'm back with one more Facebook Live, and we are going to continue to talk about messenger bots, marketing messenger bots for your business. So far, we have been in recent Facebook Lives, I've been talking about growth tools, how to drive the mechanisms through which people can discover your messenger bot, or the mechanisms through which people can start interacting with your messenger bots. And we'll continue talking about that. There are several different mechanisms, several different variations of mechanisms, I should say, and we will continue to talk about that. So if you're joining live, type in 1, say hello. If you're joining replay, type in 2, say hello, ask your questions, and we will continue. So I'm going to switch to screen sharing mode right here. And this is our familiar tool, familiar screen. ManyChat.com, that's what we have been using to build this messenger bot. To begin with, we will be exploring one more tool at least going forward, so my hope is to kind of expose you to more than one tools, because different people have different preferences. ManyChat is better if you have, if you're not so tech savvy and you want like easier user interface, then ManyChat is better in my opinion. Not everyone can agree with that. So anyways, we are here, and what we are doing, we are working on growth tools. Like I mentioned earlier, the mechanisms through which we can grow the bot subscriber base. Bot is similar to newsletter. Bot has subscribers, and the bot can only keep in touch with people who have subscribed to the bot. So our aim with the bot is to get as many subscribers as possible, as many relevant subscribers. We only want subscribers to be the people who are interested in the subject matter, in the topic that bot is going to educate or talk about. So here in the ManyChat on the left hand side, we have navigation bar, and I'm going to growth tools. So far what we have done is we have worked on, so I'm going to, let me take a step back. Sorry about that. I'm going to go back and, so far we have worked on one growth tool that's called overlay widget bar. It's an overlay bar for your website. That's what we've been working with. It seems to be working. It has some kinks, it has some problems, especially if you want to limit the bar on specific pages of website, then that's where it's not working. We will be moving on and selecting a new one, because I'm on the side, I'm still experimenting. I want to figure out how the precise behavior, and then I will come back to the bar and see what's going on. I still haven't figured out. I'm still experimenting to see what's going on. So here, when you will be selecting new growth tool today, so on the top right corner, let me see, there is a zoom feature here which I would like to show you. I don't know whether I'm not able to pan, so I'm going to go back. Yeah, so I think it fits now. I was trying to zoom in. Let me just spend one more minute to see if I can. No, I don't know. Okay, so I was trying to zoom into the area where I'm clicking, basically to show you like whether because my guess is that sometimes I'm I don't know if you're watching this on a mobile device, then things might be really tiny, really small. You can't read. I was hoping that when I click on something, I want to be able to zoom into that area and then click so that you get an idea of where I'm clicking. I guess I'll have to figure that out offline and then come back. So the new growth tool is on top right corner, right here, blue button. It's pretty conspicuous, it's visible. I just clicked on that and it opens this slide in kind of window, and it gives you all the different kinds of options for widgets, or the growth tool widget, or different types of growth tools that you can select. And we are just going one by one, and I'm showing step-by-step process of using each of those. So we will continue to do that. We worked on bar so far. We are going to switch to slide in. So I'm going to choose slide in. I just clicked on that. I am going to name it overlay sliding growth tool. Like I mentioned earlier, it's very important we name all the growth tools, because soon you'll have so many different options, different growth tools in your account, and you want to be able to identify them. It comes up with default names which are numerical, kind of in increasing order, which are not very helpful, not very intuitive. So don't forget to name your growth tool. Now you will see that the things will look very similar, because in essence those tools are not necessarily different tools, but just there are minor differences. There are like small differences in terms of how they appear on the website. So in terms of their design, the things are very similar. So here is our familiar initial state. So there is one button called show description. So this is something new compared to the bar that we saw earlier. And so here is the thing. When we were looking at the bar, it only had two components. The bar or the ribbon had title, like the title here. So on the right hand side is the preview, right? So here is the preview, and you can have either mobile preview or desktop preview. I mean, I would recommend that you will take a look at the mobile preview as well. So before you publish, so that you can make changes if you feel like. You want to be able to more people access sites through mobile devices, if not more, at least a large percentage, right? So you want your design to be responsive, means your design should be look kind of okay on across different types of devices, on desktop, on mobile. You want to present a good user experience, so whatever you are designing should look kind of, readable and okay. It should kind of not be not readable or something like that. So anyway, so here's the preview. I was saying that ribbon had only the title and the button, but now we have an option of adding description. So if I turn off description, you see now it shows me only the title and the button. But if I add description, then that's where there is an additional text box that appears. That can be very helpful, because sometimes you want to describe your offer, right? Like why, basically in this widgets, you will be making a case why visitors should click the button, right? You can just write more in the headline, but headline currently, as far as my understanding is, you cannot change the font size of headline. So we are kind of stuck with the bigger fonts, and then sometimes you don't want to be writing a huge paragraph in bigger fonts, right? Like it might not look very good and people might stop reading that. But if you have the option of writing the bigger font headlines as well as the smaller font description, that can be very helpful. We are used to reading in that fashion, right? When we read news articles or any type of articles, we have a headline which could be relatively long. You could have like a couple of lines of headline, few lines, but then we switch back to the smaller text, which is the content, or which could be the subhead, or which could be the content, the paragraph of the article itself. So description could be useful. So I'm going to keep it on, and initially I'm not going to change anything. I just want to make sure that it works, right? Like I want to show you the default. I will keep the language as default, and then we'll just work on whether it shows up on our pages or not. And then later on we can talk more about changing the content of the offer itself, basically, right? These widgets are making offers. So I will stick to send to messenger button for now, and so here, okay, sorry, now I scrolled past by habit, so I'm gonna go back and then just at least cover these things one more time. Remember, we have two types of buttons. Send to messenger is a fixed button title. You can't change this. If you want to change the button title, you have to go to with checkbox button type, and with checkbox button type you can change the button title. Send me my free guide, right? Send me the free guide. I mean, whatever you want to change, you can change that. The only drawback is with checkbox type button, it's a two-step process. The visitor has to check off this checkbox, send to messenger, as well as they have to click the button. If they haven't checked off the button, if they try to click the button is not visible. You see that circle with the bar, that's the stop sign that you see here when I hover over the button. That shows that the button is not enabled, and they need to check off send to messenger checkbox below in order to enable that button. So I'm going to stick to send to messenger. You can change colors, right, that we have discussed earlier. It's very intuitive. Background, description, and headline. So the background color, which is white, description and headline, you can change colors for all of them. Not font size, but colors you can change. Button background you can change. For the default one, you can have blue or white, two different types. We have white background, so we do want blue. Make sure that your button color should be in contrast to the backdrop or the background. We are in the business of grabbing attention, right? The button has to get the attention, so it has to stand out. So remember those things. Button size, there are small, medium, and large. I would say choose the large button. It should not overwhelm, but it should be largest possible size in my opinion, because again, as I was saying, the buttons should be very conspicuous, easy to find. Then you'll increase the conversion rate, means you'll get more people to click on the button. So and when you do large button, you may want to preview it in the phone, like how it looks like. See, on the phone it looks okay to me. If I go small, I mean, you shouldn't do small at all on the phone on the phone or smaller devices, right? Because otherwise it becomes hard for people to read that. One more change with this widget is you can add an image. So let me see if I can grab an image. Yeah, it's this one. Okay, I'm trying to find an image and I'm not able to find one. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to continue for now, but I will show you later on that you can add an image, and the image will go on top of the headline by default. Yes, it doesn't show me in some other widgets. They have the option to change things around. but here it looks like I don't see any option, so the image will go above the title. Slide in placement. So if I open that, it has 6 options. Left and right are the 2 variables, and top, middle, and bottom that you can combine with left and right, right? So 2 times 3 options, so 6 total combinations. Top left, from top left to right bottom, as you can see here. It's up to you. It really depends where you want to put it. The best practice is for it to appear. Yeah, it really depends on where you are placing it. But remember that people start reading from the top left corner of whatever the page is, right? That's how we start reading the articles, the book pages and things like that, the newspaper pages and things like that. We always start from the top left, at least the English kind of speaking and all the languages that start from the left side. Of course, there are exceptions like Arabic, Hebrew scripts, they start reading from right side. So what I'm saying won't be applicable there. But for most of the languages, people start reading from the top left area, basically somewhere in the top left. That's where they start reading, and they read in a letter F pattern. Basically, they start from the top left, they read all the way for the first top area, they go all the way to the right, and then they don't necessarily keep going to the right. So you don't want whatever you want them to focus and get the most attention, you should be putting on the top left corner, or at least in the top area somewhere. And something you want to be not conspicuous, not kind of block the other things, you want to put it on the bottom right corner. So the widget is something, just because it's going to be appearing dynamically, like it's going to slide in, it'll grab attention no matter where it is, right? It'll be a disruption in a way. So it really depends. I would suggest try like somewhere on the right side. I mean, by default they show right middle, which might be a good place to start with. Ideally, you wouldn't know. What you want to do is put it in different areas of your page and run some testing. You can see, like, when you put on the right middle, how many conversions you got versus when you put somewhere else, keeping everything else the same, which is going to be it's very difficult to kind of do very precise testing, but you can get some idea by placing it in different areas. Now, in terms of when and how frequently the widget is displayed, the parameters are similar to the bar or the ribbon. You can fire it based on the percentage scroll, you can fire it immediately, or you can fire it based on exit and intent. You can basically fire when people are about to leave the page, or you can fire when people scroll to a specific element on the page, or after a specific time lapse, like after certain seconds pass, you can have the widget appear. So I'm going to start with the seconds. I'm going to select 5 seconds and cancel. I don't know why. Yeah, so I'm setting it to appear after 5 seconds. Just because I'm testing, I'm going to change this to always show widget to the same user again. But you don't want to necessarily do always. You want to make sure that you think through the user experience. And if the user manually closes that, you definitely don't want to show it again immediately, right? Because that will annoy people, because there's a reason they are clicking it off. So either you may not want to show ever, or at least show it after a relatively longer period of time. I don't know what that relatively longer is, after a few days at least, in my opinion. But here I'm testing, so I'm selecting always. I'm going to save whatever I changed, and I'm going to go next. right. It's okay, it just takes time. So this is the submitted state, how it looks like after people click send to messenger button. Remember that the way you design the submitted state messages, they should be congruent with the user expectation, user journey. They are looking for whatever your offer material was, a free guide, a freebie, lead magnet. They want that. They need to be reminded, they will get in the messenger. So this wording, messaging here should be kind of congruent to that expectation, that it should be guiding them along that journey. So colors and images here also you can do. I remember for that. No, I was just going to say that you can also do videos, but probably videos are not available on the widget. They are on this kinds of widget, like the bar or the slide in, because you can imagine the bar. In case of the ribbon or the bar, it's just the bar that gets updated with the thank you message, and it's hard to show video there. And this also, this overlay widget tends to be small, so it only supports image. But you'll see later on that there is a page takeover or landing page option where you can show the video, like as well as image or the video, both. So hopefully this makes sense. After submit, your two options: either you can just update the message in the widget itself, like in this case, right? The widget turned green. Once they click the button, it kind of guides them that view it in messenger. It reminds them they will have to go to messenger, and in fact this button, if they click, it will fire the messenger app. You have the option of showing or hiding the description. You can also redirect them to a different URL, right? Show new message or redirect to URL. Remember, that's kind of, those two options will be there in most of the submitted state. Like once the user clicks the initial button, either you can just locally update the message within the widget, or you can send them to a different page, different URL. So hopefully that's clear. I'm going to go to the next step. So here is the opt-in message. This is the first message they will see. So they click on the button in our slide-in widget, like this guy. Right here, they click send to messenger button. Once they click the send to messenger button, they'll be taken to messenger app. But how, if they are clicking on this button for the first time, what will they see when they land on the messenger app? Let me show you that. This is where they will land. Okay, this is where they will land. This is what they will see. They need to click the get started button in order to move forward. So your greeting kind of should be, you have to make sure your greeting is such that it's helping them. And okay, so I'm going back. I just showed you how it might look. So we were here on the opt-in page, and once they click on that get started button, they'll see the opt-in message. That's right here. I can replace this with the message that I've been using, overlay dynamic widget opt-in message. Remember, it shows me all the previous messages that I've built when I select the replace button, and I selected something that I've been using, that I set up. It's not just the default message. I'm talking about the free guide, assuming that that's the offer that we have in the initial widget. I'm going to select this flow, which was the green button on the bottom right corner of that window that popped up. And so then there is this option of add subscriber to sequence. I'll probably cover that more somewhere else. Let's go through all the widgets here, how to make them work. I have talked a little bit about this, but I'll continue to explain more what it is. And then I'm going to go next here. So this is our familiar setup steps. This is exactly similar like the bar, the other widget that we looked at. So install JavaScript. It opens up this page, opens up this box pop-up. 2 steps. You have to authorize your website. You just have to enter your website in the format mysite.com, as you can see here. Okay, let's see. Hopefully you can see that. All right, you can see mysite.com. So there you go. Going back here, then you it'll add 2 entries for each site address that you enter here, one without www and one with www. Then you go next. This is the code that we need to add to the header section. So I'm copying the code. I would highly encourage you to watch my previous video. I haven't done the titles of all the videos, but I think in the previous one I will, in 2 of the previous videos I talked about how, like, some more details of how to get this code in on your website. So I think I will mention those, add some hashtags or something that helps you with that, hopefully. So I copied the code. I'm gonna go to my website. I am going to the back end of the website now, dashboard. I have a plugin that I use to do the global header or footer updates, and that's head and footer code under settings in WordPress sites. Your site might be different. So I'm gonna go and I'm going to replace this. I'm going to replace that. Now you will, so this is the second widget we are talking about. Sometimes you'll be using more than one widget, and when you're using more than one widgets, you don't necessarily, the ManyChat does not produce new JavaScript code for each widget. So remember that it's just one JavaScript code that it uses per account. Yes, so I think it's just one code, but you make sure that you verify before you move on. That's my understanding, that it's just one script that you need. You don't need different scripts for each, but be careful, like kind of make sure you know that for sure, because if it's different, if it's giving you in fact 2 different scripts, then I would add both of them here. But I think it just gives you one script, and I'll just check this number and make sure that I really have the same one. I kind of always verify that. It's manual verification, it's hard, it's error prone, I understand that, but it will be more important because of just the previous example we ran into all the problems. So anyways, so I am going to kind of move forward here. So that is all. I'm not going to touch other things yet because, like I mentioned, we ran into some problems, but I am going to shoot a video where I go through that, but it's just I need to spend some time figuring out what's going on, because I haven't clearly figured out why why sometimes it just doesn't show the widget whenever I start using these options, visibility options basically. So I did that. I have saved the growth tool. Remember 2 important things on the top right corner. Whenever you're done, you save them and then you make them active, okay? Because if you don't do that, things will not appear, right? So I did that, and I'm gonna go to my site. I'm gonna go visit site, and we'll see what happens. So remember, 5 seconds. We have to wait for 5 seconds. So I'm gonna give it few seconds here. There you go. It appeared, right? From the right middle, the widget appeared. So it's working in its basic form. We will move on to the next set of widgets. I remember I've promised I'm going to show you how the visible settings they work, and I need to spend some time figure that out. So hopefully this was helpful. This is Samir with Chatbot Marketing Center. I do the series of Facebook Lives. If you're catching me up on replay, please type 2 in the comments. Say hello. Give me feedback. Ask me questions. Share this with someone else you think might benefit from this. And thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of the day. I will see you tomorrow. Okay, bye.